Good morning, this is Darno from Porsche of Ocala. Just wanted to take a moment to show you the 2017 Porsche Macan in Carrera White that I sent you the link on last night. We're going to go over some of the standard equipment as well as optional equipment with this vehicle. Up front, you see you have your 4-point LED daytime running lights, which are standard with the vehicle, with bi-xenon headlights. This has the PDLS, which comes with the Premium Package Plus, which is going to give you cornering lights. So you'll actually have another light that's inside that'll help you see around corners. In the front grille here, it's going to be hard to see on video, but you actually have vents that open up in the grille. This is to help draw in air when necessary. So if you were, let's say, at highway speeds and you're getting a lot of air forced in, the vents would close on their own just to make sure the car runs properly. You have parking sensors in the front and rear that are standard. That also comes with the backup camera as of 2017. This car does have the 19-inch Macan turbo wheels. The Macan has a very unique shape. It's shaped just like a sports car. The roof line is kind of low. It slopes back towards the rear of the car. And you actually have a spoiler that's on the back that's functional as well. So if you take a look at it from the top, you can see there's grooves in the hood to help direct the air where it should be to make sure this car stays planted like it should. You have the side blades in black. You have the twin pipes in the rear, which are going to give it that sporty look that you would find on the Porsche. And you can see even the rear diffuser is functional, so help air travel underneath the car properly. Aerodynamics is very important. You have a very discreet button here to open up the hatch. The Macan has 3D designed tail lights, so it makes the lights pop just a little bit more for the person that's behind you. You have a 40-20-40 split with the seat, so you can bring either side down, you can bring the center down, or you can just bring the whole thing down in one shot, or you can do it as a 60-40. Underneath here, you do have a spare tire that's collapsed, and you have all the equipment that you would need. You have a 12-volt outlet in the rear of the car. Now you have two buttons on the hatch. Porsche has done a couple good things with the hatch. One of which is that when you have the entry and drive system that I mentioned to you over the phone last night, you get these two buttons on the hatch. So the one to the left is a normal one that comes with the car, so that will close the hatch itself. The one to the right will close the hatch and lock the car, so that kind of makes it convenient where you can leave the key in your pocket, and if you needed to take anything out of the cargo area, you take it out and you just press that button instead of fumbling around for a key. Now, what's also good about the hatch is you can adjust the height. Most manufacturers only offer preset heights. Typically it's 2 or 3 heights, but with this, if I just put my hand here and I bring it down 6 or so inches, which would make it more convenient for some people, you press and hold here, the system chimes, and it's stored in the memory of the car. So it's very easy to operate. It's a little bit more convenient because you want to set it to where you're comfortable with. And then there's even some safety with it. So if someone, a child or a dog, was getting into the hatch while it was closing, as soon as it sensed anything, any resistance, the hatch would automatically stop. So there's some safety along with that as well. Okay, this is a first look at the Luxor beige and black interior. This is a great way to go with the Luxor beige because right where people's hands are going to be, like here on the top part of the door, it's black. Where your feet are, it's black. A lot of times with lighter interiors, people tend to worry about messing up the lighter interior, but with this combination, it really does it justice. So if you want to pull the seat down, there's a handle right there, and it's real easy to pull it down, and like I said, you can pull the center down as well. In the rear, you have vents in the back Okay, you can control the temperature with this toggle to an extent, so you can change it a little bit, make it warmer, make it a little cooler. You do have heated seats in the rear that comes with the Premium Package Plus. You have 2 USB ports, so if you need to charge some devices, or you had children that had an iPad or some form of system that they wanted to play with in the back of the car, it will help keep them entertained. You look up top, you got the panoramic roof. So this will slide back about halfway, or you can tilt it so you can vent the car. What you also get with the Premium Package Plus is the entry and drive system, which I mentioned before. You see you have a little notch right there in the handle. You touch this and it locks the car. When you want to get into the car, you put your hand inside the door handle and then it'll unlock it. And that's as long as the key's within range. As a standard, you have 8-way seats on the Macan. This one has the 14-way seat that you get with the Premium Package Plus. That also comes with the memory package, so you have memory seats on the driver and passenger side. So with the 14-way seat, you have an extension up front, and I think Porsche did this really well, because most manufacturers that have an extension for your legs up front, it tends to cause a separation where you get dirt trapped underneath, but this one, it just stretches the seat itself, which is really good and looks really good. You push the seat forward and back, up and down, you can tilt it, you can control the backrest, and then you have your 4-way lumbar support. What you also get with the entry and drive is you get this key that stays in the ignition. Normally you would just have the physical key that you have to put in the ignition, but with the entry and drive, that stays there, and it's completely useless unless the key is inside the car. Okay, now that we're inside, there's a lot of nice things inside here, a lot of unique things. The first thing I'll point out that a lot of people notice right away is the center console. The center console is raised up pretty high, higher than most, and it's done to create a shorter distance from the steering wheel to your controls. In 17, Porsche changed the radio, so this is the new PCM. It's touchscreen. This one does have the navigation, so let's turn that on. And it has kind of a frameless display. And in 17, they added a proximity sensor. So you see the menu went away. As soon as you bring your hand close to the radio, it'll bring up the menu again. Now, everything there is simple to operate. You do have a clock here in the dash, which really gives it an elegant feel. You have the 3 instrument clusters like you would find in the Cayman or the Boxster. So you have your speed on your left, your RPMs here, and then you have your TFT display. And the TFT is one of the most important things to look at. You would control that with a roller here on the right side of the steering wheel, as well as that back button. The other button on this side of the steering wheel is going to be to hang up the phone. You have one to answer the phone. This diamond shaped button you can customize. So as a standard, typically it's set so that you can switch between media sources, but you can change that to do a number of things. And then you have your volume control on the left side. Now, this is one of the few SUVs that actually has a double clutch transmission in it. So it's not just your typical Triptronic where you can put it into a manual mode and shift it. This is the same type of transmission that you'll find in sports cars. So it's pretty unique with that. And then you have the paddle shifters that come standard on the steering wheel. So going back to the TFT display, this is your main menu. So you have your coolant temperature, your oil temperature, and your oil pressure. You can customize this display if you wanted it to show the boost pressure. Since this is a turbocharged car, you can do that. You can have it show a compass, you can have it show your elevation. There's a number of things that you can change that to. So as we scroll down, you have your audio option, so this will show you your radio stations here. You have your phone option, so once your phone is actually connected to the vehicle, you can see your contacts and your call history. This way, without taking your hands off the steering wheel, you can just press a button and dial out right from here. You also have your map in the TFT display. Let's change this a little bit. Let's zoom out, and you can switch to 3D. So you can have your map up here instead of on this screen. That way you can have the radio up here, or your settings up there, or your trip information up on that screen. And you scroll down once more, you have your navigation option. Now this is a little different. So this shows you your previous destinations, or your last destination, I should say, I'm sorry. And then you have your turn-by-turn directions once you're actually using the nav. And you scroll down, you have your trip computer, tire pressure, and since this vehicle is all-wheel drive, it shows you how the power is being distributed between the front and rear axle. And then you're back around to the vehicle menu. From here, you can actually go in to see your any alerts that come up in the car, when your service is due, check your oil because there's no dipstick in the vehicle anymore, and then you have limits, so you can set a speed limit on the vehicle. That way, if you go over a certain speed, you can the car will alert you. And then you have access to your settings here. Now, there are a few settings that aren't on here that you can access through the PCM, but the more important things that you would have to access on a regular basis are right here in the TFT display, which makes everything so much easier and safer to operate. Up here you have some more controls, home link, your light controls, and the park distance control with the sensors is automatic. So if you were pulling forward into a garage, the sensors will come on their own and let you know that you're getting too close. So you could press this button and deactivate that if you wanted to. The buttons down here are, you have your climate controls in the center part. Up top you have hill descent button, so if you're on a steep decline, you can press that button to make sure the car goes down safely. You have your standard sport mode, your stability control. You have your off-road mode, so it changes how the all-wheel drive operates. You have your automatic start and stop, and then this car has the lane departure warning added onto it. So that'll, once you start to drift out of the lane, the car will alert you that you're drifting out of the lane. Okay. Now, as I said, we'll just go up front real quick and take a look under the hood. So the Macan is powered by a 2-liter 4-cylinder turbocharged engine that produces 252 horsepower and 273 pound-feet of torque, which is quite impressive for just a 4-cylinder engine. So like I was explaining, the air goes in, it goes up. You see you have these openings in the hood, and it redirects the air directly into your intake, which is quite impressive. And they push the motor back a little bit to help with the weight balance. Everything here is very sturdy, and the Macan has a very unique hood design as well. So it kind of wraps around the fender, and then there's an opening for the headlights. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video, and hopefully we'll speak soon. Again, this is Darnell. Thank you.